So we've got that. That's why that's not working. Okay, so we need to just quickly zoom through here. Base kind of normal, roughness, metallic, ambient occlusion. That's wrong. That should be height. Where have you gone? That's opacity. Reset and view. That's what I wanted. Okay, so I've been working on this like window designer thing, and I'm glad I'm just able to solve that bug. So let's view the outputs in 3D. So we've got somewhat of a fade there, which I don't want. So a lot of Substance Designer is about making some shades and then applying some sort of grade to them, like a color correction. So here I'm going to just clamp this opacity node like this, so we get a hard edge like that. That's good. So now I've got two separate masks. So where did we start? We started here with a shape. I've tapered it to make a shape like this. I applied a distance node, which kind of like sort of chamfers the edges, for want of a better definition. It's creating this height map here, inverted it, and then we're taking these shapes here, and then I'm going to cut out various masks to do things. So I'm trying to make these kind of spaceship windows things, like a tool to make spaceship windows, kind of like the shuffle windows or something like that. So I've got two shapes. I've got a metal surround and an inner window which I want to grab. So let's get my window shape. Do I want to add any? Yeah. So this is like the start. So let's can I get a material? I really want to get this to deform because deformations are fun. Let's edit it. There we go. Can you see it's pushing the shape out a bit. Right, let's get some glass going then. So for the glass, we need to drop the color down to something mad. So we're going to get two color nodes, I think. So we're going to blend between like a paint and something dark and shiny. So let's get 2 of these. And let's use this as a mask for it. So let's pick a colour. That's for our background, and we'll just pick some white. Oh, missed white. Drop the saturation down, something grey, and plug that into our base colour. Now we need to sort out our reflections. So we need to sort out our roughness channel. So we want our glass to be a low roughness, that will be shiny, and everything else to be a higher roughness value, because that will be... So let's do the same again. Let's just mask out 2 different values. There are always different ways of doing this. I could make one glass material and a paint material and blend between them. Maybe that would be better. Let's do it like that. No. We're only going to need a couple of different settings. Right. So let's get the grayscale value. Copy that. So this is going to be our high roughness. Let's get another blend node. Put it down there. Oops, wire this in. So high roughness for our outside, low roughness for our window. Wire it into the roughness channel over here. Let's have a look at that. So you can see now the window is nice and shiny, very shiny, too shiny probably, and the outside is flat grey. So we kind of separated out the different elements of our window. I'd like to do some shaping to this. So this here is kind of controlling the shape of the surround, and I want to make it look a bit more interesting than this. So let's that's our alpha. We don't want to mess with that. Do you want to mess with this? And metallic, we probably want to mess with that. We probably want to mess with that. Let's just grab this. Wire that into metallic. So we want our window to be metallic because metallic controls the facing strength reflections. So at the moment we've got white is metallic and that's the outside metallic, so we're going to flip these around like that. There's a little bit of fringing on the edges of this, but I don't really mind. It's a nice little interface. So anyway, now we can kind of sculpt. Now we got all that in place, so you can kind of sculpt the shape of it. So we're going to do that by using a curve filter. Just this. Just turn that off for the moment. So let's give it. So this is the low values are going to be mapped to this straight line, high values over here. So we want, if we move that up a bit. See, we get this starting to get some shape on our window surface. My normal seems to be flipped. Why is that? Oh no, it's just an illusion. It's not quite enough. Trying to get this to read a bit better on the inside. So you can see I'm pretty much drawing a profile for my window. Like you can imagine, this is actually just a cross section of something. The main thing is I'm just making sure that this is a 0.5 value, which will become obvious why later. Getting some sharp corners in there clearly helps. Now, I think the problem is I haven't got enough shininess on this surface, so let's drop the roughness down to something a bit more sensible like that. That will kind of do. So that's an interesting shape. I think it needs some grunge. I really want to be able to round these corners off as well. So let's just have a look. That. So the way to do rounded corners is really, you can see we've got this distance tool. So if I add a distance tool over here, get this. We get a better shape. Oh no, it's over here. This shape, that's a bit nicer. So that's going to become the new part of my window like that. Oh, that did actually work. That was quite neat. So there's like a shift drag to drag the whole group of nodes like once. That was kind of cool. Read that in the manual. Right, so now I've got that in place. I think the last thing to do is to add some grunge. And there you see some grunge. Really like to add with some rivets. Let's add some controls though. Controls would be useful. Oh, that's interesting. Oh, that's why. Why is it all level 8? Because that's at level 8. Let's just override that for the moment. Why is that level 8? So I've built my own nodes. I need to go find out now. Well, let's just set it to absolute for the moment. Yeah, let's set it to relative to input and see what happens. Huh. Relative to parent? Nope. Absolute. Can we set it to 16-bit? Yeah, kind of. It will do. So can you see the fidelity of this? So 16-bit height channels are much better for making normal maps. So when I came over here and just quickly looked at the normal, there was lots of like noise and crappy shit going on. So by changing my height channel to 16-bit, it's made everything just a little bit nicer. And what I was umming and ahhing about was this node is one of my own custom nodes. Anything with a KZ in front of it is a Kenzor custom node. And for some reason it was outputting an 8-bit channel. I was trying to work out why that was, and whether I could be asked to try and fix that in a live stream, which is probably a bad plan because it might be a bit dull and technical. So I think probably the thing to do is try and get this out as quickly as possible so that people can see how it works. So we need to add some parameters to control what's going on. So let's do that. So what do we have? Do we have any attributes set at the moment? No instance parameters. Right, so we double click on here. We've got no parameters at all, so let's add some. So certainly want to be able to control that, the roundness of that corner and the roundness of this corner. I can do that by controlling this distance node and this distance node. So let's just expose that. Call it distance. And if we click on here, we can do expose. Give it a new name, distance 1. Just rename it later. So let's go back into here. We don't need those input nodes at the moment. So distance, we're going to call this round window. Let's go now. Let's call it window. Long name for that, but anyway. And you can see if I go into the preview window, looking at these corners, as I adjust that, well, it gets really big. It takes ages to refresh. Distance 1 shouldn't be called distance 1, it should be called frame size. And one thing to note is if you do this trick, the distance tool doesn't like 0 values. So if I turn this down to 0, boof, all disappears, which is a pain in the butt. So I need to make sure that my parameters are never less than 1. And I'm going to clamp it like that. Maybe 0.1. So let's have a look at the preview again. Like that. Then practice, I can't get too big because I'm going to clip the edges. So 40 seems to be my limit, so let's just go and dial that in. 40. Cool. Strictly speaking, I can do some maths to make sure that the sum of these two distances doesn't mess shit up, but meh, only a demo. Right, so that's a very boring window for whatever definition. I think we do need some grunge. To some extent I could put the grunge in Substance Painter, but it might be more interesting to do it here. Really I just want to mess with the roughness channel, so let's find some grungy noise. I have just done a massive all-nighter to hit a deadline, so I'm a little bit tired. Maybe this one? It's a bit too even. Maybe this one. Yeah, let's just do something. That'll do. So we're going to do something with that. What's that? That's my metallic channel. Where's my roughness gone? It's up here. So let's blend that over the top. See what it looks like. It's really annoying. Let's get my 3D window back. Hey, there it is. Right. So at the moment it's not blending at all, it's just overriding it, but you can see I'm getting some interesting stuff going on with the glass. It's a bit much. So we want to fade that, and I think I'm going to do add subtract. Is that a good idea? Soft light. That's kind of interesting. I like the way it works on the surround. It's not doing anything to the glass at all. That's a bit better. I can already kind of see that I need to use 7 grunges for the window and for the surround. Just a little bit annoying, but let's just have a go. Maybe I do need to do a material blend. Let's do a material blend. So at the moment I'm doing all these separate blends based on the same mask, and I'd probably be a bit more efficient about that. So let's do material filters blending. So you want material blend, there we go. It's a bit full on. Don't need all of that, we just need, so we got diffuse base color, this is like all the stuff, we just need some of that. So can I turn it off? Channels, yes. Diffuse, no. Base color, yes. Normal, no. Specular, no. Emissive, no. Glossiness, no. Roughness, yes. Metallic, yes. All this stuff. Height, no, maybe? Let's turn that off for the moment. I can always turn it back on again. So we've got a mask, and we've got these 3 channels. That's a bit better. Okay, right. So now we can set some stuff up. So this one will be my glass color. So let's whack some stuff in. Glass. Low roughness value. Metallic. Oh yeah. It's very metallic. And we're going to have this one be roughness. No colour. That's going to be the roughness of our surround. Some sort of metallic value. Where's it gone? So this round is not metallic. So now I can base color, roughness. Going to keep that. Go over there. Why? Come back. We'll just get rid of this mess. Because that was just too many things and it wasn't clear what was going on. So let's, now we've got this. We'll add that in. Reset to view up 3D. Back where we started again. So now I've got 2 separate pipes. One for my surround, which is going to be this one. One for the other stuff, so we can do separate blends. In composite packages, when you drop a node on a wire, it automatically wires it in, but not in Substance, which is a pain. So are we seeing any effect there? You can just see some specular there. So because this is a grey base colour, I can kind of do this add subtract. There we go, that'll do. And let's take the same thing. Really, I should take a different grunge because otherwise it will. So let's find something that's interesting for glass at random, like sweaty spots or something. What's that? What's that, by the way? What have I done? Grunge sand dry. Grunge dirt scratch. Let's try. I think this might work. So where's the roughness channel for my? There. just going to add that on top. Wear it in. So now we've got view outputs in 3D. Yeah, that's a bit more interesting. So you can see we've got some breakup patterns on there, which is good. I should probably let's do some more wirings. Where's our base color? So I don't think I'm going to get to use this in Substance Painter today. So let's expose all this. Oh, the color is going to be called frame color. What else can we do? Oh yeah, I know. We need to adjust this. So this has got some controls which allow me to change the way it tapers. So if I adjust that center value, it does this. I think I want to bring this down to there. Right, so yeah, that center value. Does that. So I don't think it matters where that is. Shouldn't matter where that is, but it doesn't. Ah, it matters where that is. So that's fine. I don't need to mess with that. I need to mess with the 0. Right, so we want to expose this, but I only want to expose the X value, so I'm going to have to write a little function for that. So we want to control our 0 point. Maybe. And we're going to control our amount. So now you can see we've got, well, if I go to, we've got square windows. A little bit too just the exercise just a tad. Let's just make it 0.5 each way. So if I expose this directly, it will make a two-part float, but I only want to control one of the values, so we're going to make a function for this. So let's do do that. So if I click in here, I'm going to add an attribute, call that skew. Call this taper. I can go over here to my taper node. No, we want to edit it. We want to make an empty function, then edit it. Come here. Edit. So here we are in the edit node. Where has it gone? There's no output function. Weird. Right, let's just get a float, which is going to get us. It's tiny. Trying to get us our skew. No, missed. Skew. Let's make a float. So that's 0.5. No, I want to add. Because 0.5 is the center value, I'm just going to mess with the user interface to make skew 0. So when skew is 0, I'll add 0.5 to it and that'll make it 0.5. And that'll just hide the 0.5 center value from the user. It just makes it a little bit nicer. Then I need to make that into a vector. So the x value is going to be that, and the y value is going to be 0.5. Set that to my output node. So there's no taper on this at the moment, so let's set that up as well. In fact, just go back to this. Edit that. I'll just copy all of this because I'm using it again. Go out. We're going to change the mount. Empty function. Edit it. Let's paste our stuff in. That's going to be taper. And that's going to be our output node. Set to output. It's all a bit funky now because that's tiny. So let's just adjust our defaults. So set, I want that to be minus 0.5 probably. 0.5. Default's going to be 0. Then there we go. Otherwise it just goes horribly wrong. And then we want to change our taper value. Something a bit less harsh like that. I've wired something in incorrectly. What have I done? Oh, because that shouldn't be. It should be 0. There you go. That's better. Don't need that. There we go. That's better. So now we have a parameterized window making thing. We can mess with, so if we go to preview, we can mess with the frame size, shrink it down a bit, mess with the corner roundness. Very slow. We can mess with the frame color, make it green. I haven't set it up to mess with the reference values, but I could do that. That's kind of cool. We can change the skew of it. Slide over that way. Slide over that way. Zero it. We can change the taper amount. This is pretty slow because that is huge and it doesn't need to be. Let's just drop it down. Also, when it's compiled, so when I export it to Substance Painter, it becomes that's better. That's real time, isn't it? So when I export it to Substance Painter, it becomes compiled, and the compiled SBS AR files are a shitload faster. So there we go, there's our parameterized window, bit of random live stream. Thanks for those who are going to watch this. I guess I'll be doing maybe some tutorial stuff. Anyway, like or subscribe if you like this. I've kept it quite short to keep it kind of focused. Bit sad about EmberGen. It is an awesome tool. Bit sad it totally mashed my machine though. But it's still in beta, so that's just what happens. I should maybe do a tutorial on it rather than a live stream, so it won't just interrupt everything. Anyway, I'll see everybody later, and hopefully you're all cool.